Well, out on the recruiting trail, Texas had the #1 overall recruiting class, and they got one of those answers that they didn't want to hear. We saw this one coming, but it all became official last Friday with Christian Westerman, now the #2 offensive tackle in the nation, saying, I'm coming to play with the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, you know, this wasn't a big shock, but nonetheless, it is still huge. It was a blow to Texas's class and a great gain for Auburn. First of all, Christian Westerman is an outstanding prospect, one of the top 10 prospects in the nation. He's an athletic tackle. He's a mean, physical run blocker. He's got the tools to be a good pass blocker. But more importantly, for Auburn is they're losing 4 starters on an offensive line, 2 backups as far as being seniors. So they need offensive linemen. They need depth. So with Christian Westerman, you get a guy who's not only a good player, but also serves a need.
Yeah, that offensive line is just going to be stout, to say the least, with this recruiting class. Reese Dismukes, the #1 center nationally, coming in, as well as Thomas O'Reilly, very good offensive guard. When you look at the Auburn Tigers as a whole at this point, what does this do to build for the future as far as all the replacing they're going to have to do on that offensive side of the ball?
Well, you mentioned there are holes, and they're bringing in guys to fill. Cam Newton, he was a pretty good player for that offense. And Kyle Frazier, you're going to get a quarterback who has the ability, the potential to bring those type of dynamics to that offense. We talked about the Smukes, Westerman, Greg Robertson, Thomas O'Reilly. You not only need to find starters for those guys who are leaving, but you also need just to find bodies. You have to have depth on the offensive line. You just can't play with 5 guys. You got to have more than that. So they're getting bodies in and good players who could fill those opening starter needs.
And the Tigers have the #9 overall recruiting class as it stands right now. Cyrus Kwanjo, the #1 offensive tackle, is out there. Auburn, one of the schools he's considering.